we learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tangkop, tangkop time. Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na.
The Department of Education, Division of Tangub City, in partnership with the local government unit of Tangub, presents Ang Tangkup, transforming advancement in the new normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media and instructional program crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies thematically layered in drama plays which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is Ang Tangkup.
Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkup, tangkup, tangkup time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkup, tangkup, tangkup time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkup, tangkup, tangkup time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkup, tangkup, tangkup time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na.
Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Addition of multiplication, subtraction of ang division. Problema dali rasulbaron, kay ang mati ay sayo. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Ang mati ay sayo. Ang mati ay sayo.
Hello and good afternoon to our junior high school learners. Welcome to our program, ang Astral Academy Cyber School. We are live via DepEd Tayo Tanggol Facebook page.
Astral Academy Facebook page.
An Astral Academy YouTube channel.
I am Teacher Louie.
And I'm Teacher Brian, ang inyong online math teacher.
And I am Teacher Ten, ang inyong makakasama sa asignaturang edukasyon sa pagpakatao.
Okay, so sa itong mga learners dira no, makita na silang screen ang ato
Yes.
ang first attendance marker.
Okay,
So this time Sir Brian and Ma'am Tin, atong first nga i-discuss is grade 7 music. So hello
Yes.
grade 7 learners. Get yourself learning materials because in this week you're going to describe the musical characteristics, identify the musical instruments, and discover way of producing sounds on a variety of sources that is similar to the instruments being studied. Okay, first competency is describe the musical characteristics of representative music selections from Mindanao after listening. Okay, Mindanao is home of a diverse culture where the Christians, Lumads, Sir Brian, no, like Subanin, and Muslims live together harmoniously and peacefully.
yes. Because bisa pag unsa atong culture no, either Musliman or Christians, harmonious jud Japon ta or peaceful jud Japon diri sa
diri sa
Mindanao.
Mindanao. Okay.
Yes, so music in the region is organic to these cultural communities which use music in different social functions. Some of these are sacred in nature and they play an important role in the society. Thus, careful understanding and respect should be observed at all times.
Okay, so with this music in Mindanao, Sir Brian, is an intricate yet an interesting matter to study with. Sometimes, formal parameter of musical expression from the West may not work for the music from Mindanao. These are the characteristics of music from the Mindanao, Sir Brian. Okay.
Yes, and first, music has functions. The music could be for rituals of children, lullabies, courtship and marriage, death, occupation, good harvest, socialization, and others. It reveals how important are the creative expressions to the life of the community.
Yes, so ang music daw has function because sa tanan natong mga sa kudagan sa tong life no naagyud ang music. Either birthday man ka na siya, either bisang pagpatay naagyud ang music.
Okay, same with other cultures, Sir Brian, sa Cordillera nga, ang music po nato diri sa Mindanao is magamit po nato siya through rituals, okay,
Yes.
lullabies, marriage, or courtship, especially sa katong Muslim nga culture.
Okay, next, cultural communities occupying shared boundaries exhibit similarities in their music such as vocal and instrumental. So kana no ang kuangan po nato no na atay vocal na po instrumental. For the vocal kanang during harvest so naapod sila yung music ana in honor sa ilang gods.
Okay, the style of singing used for vocal music are melismatic. Melismatic means group of notes sung to one syllable of text. Long phrases, narrow range, fluid singing, and tremolo. Okay. Next,
And
Martin.
vocal repertoire is performed either in responsorial or solo manner.
Okay, so next, epic songs may be chanted at weddings, gatherings to entertain guests, or simply as evening entertainment for the villagers themselves. They may last for one or more nights. Okay, for the next is
In some cultural practices, Sir Brian and Ma'am Tin, music should be mixed with literature, dance, to yield a specific performance. Thus, music cannot be detached from the other art forms.
And people create melodic chants and indigenous instruments based on the materials available in their place.
Okay, those are the characteristics of music in Mindanao. Okay, so after they listen the given music sample in their self-learning materials, Sir Brian and Ma'am Tin, they can now easily describe the musical characteristics of Mindanao. Okay, next competency is identify the musical instruments and other sound sources of representative music selections from Mindanao. This time, Sir Brian, our learners are going to identify the musical instruments and other sound sources through pictures because some of these musical instruments are not available in the market, diba?
yes.
I've heard Sir Louie and Sir Brian that most of the instruments in Mindanao are ensembles.
Yes, exactly, Ma'am Tin. We have gong, gong ensembles and bamboo ensembles. For gong ensembles, this includes kulintang.
Yes.
So our gongs in row, tahonggo, agong, salmagi, blown, simagi. So these are suspended gong ensembles in various names according to each tribe. So mo nang kuan siya bamboo ensembles because pud sa ato ang location sa Mindanao. So mo na.
No.
Daghang
Okay, Sir
kawayan.
Brian, let me check, Sir Brian. Okay, those are gong ensembles. Okay, the kulintang and agong. Next is the bamboo ensemble. These are bamboo instruments were made of the purpose of entertainment and personal expression of their spiritual faith. These includes gabang, sirong gagandi, kudyapi, and suling. Okay, again, for gong ensembles, we have kulintang and agong. For bamboo ensembles, we have gabang, sirong gagandi, kudyapi, and suling.
Suling.
Our next competency, Sir Brian, is discover ways of producing sounds on a variety of sources that is similar to the instrument being studied. Okay, so naanapod sa ilahang self-learning materials, Sir Brian, no, ang pictures, dili lang nato,
Yes.
dili lang nila nalay mga ubang mga instruments nga wala gid nila nadungog kay exclusive ra sa culture, so wala siya nabaligya sa market. Okay, so this competency is the preparatory skill for the next lesson nga makuha to next week. Okay, all we can do, Sir Brian and Ma'am Tin, is to give some idea or materials that produces sound similar to the instruments of Mindanao. Examples, agong. Okay, actually, most of our learners, Sir Brian, is nakita nagjudugon sa ng agong, especially sa katong during Dalit. Yes, Dalit Festival na ay mga schools nga nagamit og agong. So, unsa man ang mga materials pod, Sir Brian, nga available sa ilahang balay nga
Pwede.
parehas og tingog sa agong,
Yes.
Sir Brian.
So, pwede sila mo gamit og kaldero or kawa. So, mao na
Yes.
kay because they will improvise man ang mga materials nga present sa ilahang balay.
Okay, for dabakan or gandang, okay, ang example po nga magamit nila nga materials sa ilang balay is balde. Okay, for gabang, we have kaning wooden xylophone, Sir Brian, and flutes. Okay, kaning flutes is available na uban nga na flute sa ilang balay, ang uban pod wala. And this competency, Sir Brian, ato lang po ipakuha sa itong mga bata, no, nga, this is the preparatory competency for the next lesson next
yes.
week kay they are going to perform naman next week gamit ni nga mga materials.
So, karon nga week, they will going to discover the sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is ESP7. Okay, so our learning competencies
Ang
are
ating learning competency sa linggong ito ay nakilala ang pagkakaiba at pagkakaugnay ng bertud at pagpapahalaga. At natutukoy ang mga bertud at pagpapahalaga na isa sa buhay at ang mga tiyak na kilos na ilalapat sa pagsasabuhay ng mga ito.
Okay, so ano-ano ba ang pagkakaiba at pagkakaugnay ng bertud at pagpapahalaga, Ma'am Tin?
Yes,
Yes.
Ma'am Tin. At bakit natin ito kailangan pag-aralan at ano naman ang kahalagahan nito sa ating buhay?
Oo nga naman. Bakit kaya? Sa ngayon, sisimulan natin kilalanin muli kung ano ang bertud at ano ang pagpapahalaga. So, makinig. Ang bertud o virtue sa wikang Ingles ay mula sa salitang Latin na virtus, na ang ibig sabihin ay pagiging tao, pagiging matatag, at pagiging malakas.
Kay Ma'am Tin, sinasabing hindi daw taglay ng isang tao ang bertud ng ipinanganak. Totoo ba iyon?
Talagang oo. Ang pagkakaroon ng bertud ay nalilinang ng isang tao habang siya ay lumalaki base sa kanyang natutunan at mga karanasan.
Okay, so Ma'am Tin, bakit kailangan pa nating matutunan ang bertud at gaano ba ito kahalaga?
Yes, Sir Bry. Talagang napakahalaga nito. Pagkat ang bertud ay ang nakakatulong sa isang tao o sa atin upang gumawa ng tamang desisyon. Di ba may tatlong uri ang bertud? Anong nga ba ito, Sir Louie?
Okay, ang tatlong uri ng bertud ay una, intellectual na bertud. Ito ay tinatawag na gawi ng kaalaman tulad ng pag-unawa, agham. Ito ang sistematikong kalipunan ng mga tiyak at tunay na kaalaman na bunga ng pagsasaliksik at pagpapatunay.
Yes.
Next is karunungan o wisdom. Ito ang nagtuturo sa tao upang humusga ng tama at gawin ang mga bagay na mabuti ayon sa kanyang kaalaman at pag-unawa. Next, maingat na paghuhusga. We also have sining or art. Next, we have
Ang
moral
pangalawa
na
naman
virtud.
ay-
Pangalawang virtud ay moral na virtud. Mga gawi o ugali nito ay nagpapabuti sa pagkatao at nagtuturo sa atin na naiayon sa ating ugali sa tamang katwiran.
Okay, so under ani nga bertud, moral na bertud, katarungan or justice, pagtitimpi, katatagan, maingat na paghusga. So mooto ang upat ka kung ano nga under sa moral na bertud.
At ang pangatlong bertud naman ay yung tinatawag na theological na bertud. Ang mga bertud na ito ay direktang ibinigay sa atin ng Diyos upang magkaroon tayo ng ugnayan sa Kanya. Ito ay ang pananampalataya, pag-asa at pag-ibig. So ngayon, kilalanin naman natin ang pagpapahalaga o values. Ano nga ba ito, Sir Bry?
Okay, ang pagpapahalaga or value sa ating sa salitang Ingles ay nagmula sa salitang Latin na valor na nangangahulugang pagiging malakas o matatag at pagkakaroon ng saysay o kabuluhan. So halimbawa, mapapahalagahan ang pag-aaral kung paglalaanan ito ng iba yung pagsisikap at pagtatyaga na may kalakip na sakripisyo.
Okay, ang bawat tao ay may iba't ibang pinapahalagahan sa buhay.
Ang pagpapahalaga ay hindi iniisip, ito ay dinaramdam. So ngayon, pag-usapan naman natin ang inyong napakahalagang tanong kanina, Sir Brian at Sir Louie. Ano ang pagkakaiba ng bertud at pagpapahalaga? So ang pagkakaiba pagkakaiba ng bertud at pagpapahalaga ay pagbibigay ng importansya at kabuluhan sa isang bagay. So maaaring ito ay pansarili o personal dahil ang isang individual ay maaaring magpasya kung ano ang mahalaga sa kanya, samantalang ang bertud naman ay mga katangian na maituturing na mabuti o kanais-nais ng isang tao.
Okay, so ano naman ang kaugnayan ng bertud sa pagpapahalaga, Ma'am Tin?
Ang bertud at pagpapahalaga ay may mataas na pagpapahalagang moral na tinatanggap sa buong mundo at nagpapakita ng pamantayan o basihan ng kalidad ng moralidad na kaaya-aya sa isang tao.
Okay, so tama Ma'am Tin. Ang pagpapahalaga at bertud ay mga makabuluhang konsepto na humuhubog sa pag-uugali ng tao na makakatulong sa kanya na magpasya kung ano ang mahalaga sa kaniyang buhay.
Okay, so magkaiba man ito, so magkakaugnay naman sapagkat ang pagpapahalaga ay isang bertud.
Yes, Sir Louie. Nagbibigay ito ng importansya sa kabutihan at halagang moral ng isang tao sa bagay at kapwa-tao.
Okay, so hayan, grade 7 learners. Ang gagawin niyo lamang sa linggong ito ay, panuto Sir Luigi, pakibasa.
Kilalanin at tukuyin ang mga sitwasyon sa bawat bilang kung ito ba ay nagpapahayag ng bertud at pagpapahalaga na dapat isa sa buhay ng bawat tao.
Yes.
Isulat sapat lang ang T kung ito ay tama at M naman kung ito ay mali. Okay, activity number 2, tukuyin ang mga bertud at pagpapahalaga na iyong ikinikilos lalo na sa panahon ngayon na may pandemya. So itala ito sa inihandang espasyo. Gawing gabay sa pagsagot ang halimbawa na mababasa sa inyong self-learning materials. Okay, so more discussions when we return. This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
Mag-observe o mag-discover ta, living things o non-living things, mga stars o mga planeta, mga stars o mga planeta, mga stars o mga planeta.
And we are back, still here in Astral
Astral
Academy Cyber
Cyber
School.
School.
Okay, so manata sa grade 7 music.
Yes, sir.
And then,
And
ASP 7.
ASP 7.
So this time learners, okay, ang grade 8 learners na po ang mag-prepare silang self-learning material.
Okay, so our learning competency for today, listen perceptively to the music of South Asia and the Middle East. Analyze musical elements of selected songs and instrumental pieces heard and performed. And lastly, explore ways of producing sounds on a variety of sources that would stimulate instrumental being studied. Okay, we will discuss the first competency.
So for this quarter, Sir Brian, from what specific country we will going to study?
Okay, for this quarter, we will be discussing the vocal and instrumental music from India, Pakistan, and Iraq.
Can you tell us, sir, what are the characteristics of vocal music in those countries?
Okay, the vocal music of India includes several types of folk and popular music. Okay, some are melismatic, same sa
Yes.
pang discuss na to ganyan
Yun
sa
nga.
grade 7. In Pakistan vocal music, they use ghazal, which are the traditional expression of love, separation, and loneliness. And the qawwali, which is the devotional music of Christi order or the religious song. While in Israel, vocal music has two divisions of Jewish music, which are the devotional or almost entirely vocal and secular using the instruments and the voice.
Now, can you teach us on how our learners will listen perceptibly to the music of South Asia and the Middle East?
Okay. Now, in listening perceptively, Ma'am Tin, our learners should listen carefully on how the tune of the musical instrument being combined or played ana nga piece. Then, put this question always sa ilang huna-una nga makita pud sa ilang SLM.
Yes.
Una, what is or are the moods or mood or feeling after listening to the music? So kaniha kay gipa-play man na siya noon sa man ilang ma-feel after ato nga makadungog ato nga music. Next, what is the message that they can get from the song? And then next, what instrument are being used in the music? O kung maminaw ka sa music, isa ka makakuan mo ka naabay guitar, naabay drum. Ana, next is the song fast, slow ba, or does the tempo vary? Magdepende ba ang tempo mo? Paspas ba o hinay? Okay, for example, the music from India, katong Hindustani
music.
yes, the Hindustani music that they heard a while ago. The highest experience nga madungog nimo sa kuan sa ato nga music, emotions were calm. Nganong calm man kay because it is a religious and folk music at the same time. So mao nang calm siya kay ang gigamit sa singer is nasal singing. Unsa nga instrument ang ilang imong madungog ato? Mga instrument nga madungog is percussion instruments such as drums or avanad. Ang mga avanad is drums na siya sa India. Nga makita nila diha different drums nga makita silang SLM. Unsay tempo sa Hindustani? The tempo was moderate, slow. Okay. So ning atuon ra sa atong mga learners ang pag-analyze no kung maminaw ka bisag mga unsa nga music pag-analyze, listen perceptively. Unsa mo pag-listen perceptively? Unsay imong mood after hearing that song? Then unsay mga accompaniment nga imuhang nadungog. So ning ana ra ang sa first week.
Okay, next is analyze musical elements of the selected songs and instrumental pieces heard and performed.
So, after listening perceptibly sa musical piece, mag-analyze na po di ay sila, sir. Unsaon man pag-analyze sa musical elements of selected songs and instruments.
Okay, to analyze this song being heard, you need to identify what are the musical elements being applied in the musical piece being heard. Okay, first we have the timbre or the unique sound quality of instruments or sound. Next, dynamics, how loud or soft the music. Rhythm, how long or short the sound is. Melody, a series of pitches that makes tune. Next is form or texture, the layers of sound, either homophonic, monophonic. Yes, and okay, next we have
So,
example of the Indian song. Okay, kaning Indian song is nanani silang self-learning materials. And okay, in order to analyze or to identify the musical elements, Sir Brian, no, so dapat malinaw gid sila sa
sa musical piece nga ilahang naa sa SLM. So naa po tay link nga gihatag. So kanara no to analyze jud, kailangan nimo i-identify ang musical elements nga nadungog ana nga piece. So moing kag dynamics, unsa man ning kusog ba ang music, ning hinay ba siya, or ning alternate ba mo kusog mo hinay, so ning anaon ra ang rhythm, paspas ba or dili. So ang melody, when si melody, the series of pitches, ang pitches ning tagning ba siya, either the instrument or ang tingog. And then sa timbre, ang timbre is nasal ba, unsa may gigamit niya, nasal ba ang uban kay diaphragm. So diha nato makuan. So, ning atuon ra pag-analyze sa ato ang mga learners ang given piece. Now, this time, we will proceed to the third competency, which is explore ways of producing sounds on a variety of sources that would stimulate instrumental being studied. Okay, since the musical instrument of South and Middle Asia are mostly percussion instruments. So, if makita nila sa SLM, mostly gyud dukdukon ang mga instrument nga naa sa South and Middle Asia. So they will look for any material nga naa sa ilahang balay that could produce sound that's similar, pareha-pareha og tono sa mga instrument that nga present sa different countries nga ato ang gidiscuss. Like for example, kato sa grade 7, so ang baldi is pwede ra na siya sa tabla. Unsa nang tabla naa sa ilang SLM? Ang tabla is a drum.
Yeah.
So kana siya. So ang drum dito sa kuan sa India, tabla na siya.
Okay, another example, Sir Brian, no, nga instruments nga makita dra sa ilang self-learning materials, we have the karta.
Yes.
Kunya ang tingog sa karta, Sir Brian, is mula na siya og tingog sa kutsara.
So yes, katong kuan bitaw tapo ng kutsara din anaon siya. So mura na siya kuan.
And another one, we have the gobble or ang iyang tingog, Sir Brian, nga similar
Pwede
ana
na siya
is
tab.
Okay,
Yes.
it is necessary nga they're going to explore the sound nga makita sa ilahang play so that in the next week, in the next competency, so they're going to
Improvise.
the instruments. Then
Yes.
perform nila Sir Brian, they are going to use the improvised instruments.
for their accompaniment sa kanta.
Yes.
So kana siya. So mo nang kailangan gyud nila mo mo explore gyud sila og ways how to produce sounds nga same sa mga countries nga atong gi-study, because next week mo kanta na sila sa song with accompaniment sa katong sound nga na-produce nila.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all for the music 8. Now, this time we will proceed to ESP 8 with our
At
learning competency, Ma'am Tien.
Ang ating competency ay natutukoy ang mga biyayang natanggap mula sa kabutihang loob ng kapwa at mga paraan ng pagpapakita ng pagpapasalamat.
Okay, wow. So mukhang magandang pag-usapan nito, Ma'am Tien and Sir Luigi.
Yes.
Kayo ba ay may mga biyayang natatanggap sa inyong buhay?
Ikaw, Sir
Yes,
Raul.
Sir Brian. Ay, pagmata pa lang galing ito, Sir Brian,
Ay,
na natay
oo.
gift nga nadawat. Ang gift of
Kayo.
life, Sir Brian, nagyatag ni Papagad.
Yes.
Okay, so
Sa-
aside na, Sir Brian, asa pa yung mga butang ang mga
Nadawat na
ni
to.
Mas Sir Brian?
Yes, ako agad is good health, good mom.
Oh, yes.
Pero sa to
Yeah,
ko mga
giubo ka, no?
ginikanan, oy. Daghan kay nahatag ato ang ginikanan sa ato.
Yes, dagan sila contributions good. Okay. So sa mga biyayang iyon, nasubukan niyo na bang magpasalamat,
Of
Ma'am Tien?
Yes.
course.
Sama sa kong gingon ganina, Sir Brian, no, nga pagmata pa lang gali na to sa buntag na natay gift of life nga gihatag si Papagad. So, unsa man ato ang way of pasasalamat na Sir Brian is through prayer.
Yes. So, gaano ba kahalaga ang magpasalamat sa mga biyayang natatanggap, Ma'am Tien?
Yes, mahalaga talaga na ipadama natin sa mga taong nakapagbibigay sa atin ng biyayang natanggap mula sa kabutihang loob. So yung pag-appreciate sa kabutihang loob na ipinapakita sa iyo ay dapat mo talagang pinapakita na ipinapakita sa kahit anong paraan. So dahil ito ay nagpapasya o nagpapasaya o nagpapagaan ng loob. So sa pagpapakita, ipinapakita mo yung pagpapahalaga mo sa iyong nararamdaman, yung pag-appreciate mo sa kanya. Kayo, Sir Loie at Sir Bri, may karanasan ba kayo na hindi nalilimutan tungkol sa pagpapasalamat? O yung pinapasalamatan nyo? Or nakapagpasalamat na ba kayo?
Every time nga kaning na-enjoy mahatag sa ko Sir Ma'am Tin, no, and Sir Brian. So always jud kong magpasalamat ana Sir Brian.
May experience ba kayo na pinasasalamatan kayo sa kabutihang naibigay mo sa kanila o naidulot sa kanila? Ikaw yung pinapasalamatan.
Maybe my past nga mga learners, because not only ang teacher man good, di wala lang taga-discuss sa lesson, but ato ang i-discuss is the preparation for their life. So mo tong maybe some of my learners good is nagpasalamat sila sa mga learnings.
Teachers Day, daghan kita mga flowers nga nadawatin.
Ma'am
Ay mga
Tin.
unexpected nga mga
Mga
makaon
gifts.
sa tuang
Table.
table.
Exactly, Ma'am Tin.
So, di ba may malaking epekto sa ating nararamdaman ang pagiging mapasalamatin at mapagpasalamat sa lahat ng biyayang natanggap mula sa iba at lalo na sa Panginoon.
Tama, Ma'am Tin. So may iba't ibang gawi o paraan sa pagpapakita ng pasasalamat na ayon sa ating kultura o kulturang Pilipino.
Yes.
Okay, so diri sa tuano, so sa ato ang way diri Sir Brian, pasasalamat sa ato ang kultura Sir Brian, we have Dalat Festival.
Dalat
Okay.
Festival.
So examples, ati-atihan, sinadya sa halaran o Pahiyas
Pahiyas.
Festival.
Yes. Okay, yes Sir Luigi at Ma'am Tien, mayroon ding mga paraan ng pagpapakita ng pasasalamat. Okay, so magkaroon ng ritual ng pasasalamat tulad ng mga nabanggit ni Sir Luigi kanina,
Yes.
katong mga dalit, pahiyas. Okay, una, ito ay magpadala ng liham pasasalamat sa mga taong nagpakita ng kabutihan o higit na nangangailangan ng iyong pasasalamat.
Pangalawa, bigyan ng simpleng yakap o tapik sa balikat. Okay, next, we have magpasalamat sa bawat araw. Pang-apat, pangongolekta ng mga quotations.
Yes.
Okay. Panglima, gumawa ng kabutihang loob sa kapwa nang hindi naghihintay ng kapalit.
Kapalit.
Sir
Yes,
Brian,
ganun
mao dyan na
yun.
siya may pinakakwano. Kay,
Ug mahatagi ka, dili ka mag-expect in
yes,
return.
dapat genuine jud imong paghatag.
Lagi, kung genuine ang imuhang paghatag, bisan pag dili siya magpasalamat, happy lang gihapon ta, di ba?
And the last one,
yes.
Ma'am Tin and Sir Brian, magbigay ng munti o simpleng regalo.
Yes.
Yes.
So, maraming pangyayari sa ating buhay na nakaranas tayo na gawa ng kabutihan. So, mainam na malaman ang mga pamamaraan ng pagpapakita ng pasasalamat para na rin sa mga taong gumawa sa atin ng kabutihan, lalo na sa panahon ng pangangailangan.
Tama, Ma'am Tin. Basta laging tandaan na ang pagpapakita ng pasasalamat kahit na simpleng paraan ay
Yes.
nagdudulot ng kaligayahan sa taong pinagkakautangan mo ng loob. Ngayon, grade 8 learners, ang gagawin nyo ay tukuyin ang biyayang natanggap mula sa kabutihang loob at isulat ang paraan ng pagpapakita ng pasasalamat. Isulat ang iyong sagot sa chart na nasa inyong self-learning materials. Gawing gabay ang halimbawa sa unang bilang na makikita sa iyong printed self-learning materials.
Yes.
Okay, more discussions after a short break. This is
Astral
Astral Academy
Academy
Cyber School.
This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. Come and learn to speak and write of the language of the world. Learn to understand the language of the world. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we write. This is the English way.
And we're back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School.
Okay, so this time, Sir Brian, so makita dira sa ilang screen ang ato ang ikaduhang attendance marker.
Yes.
Okay, so this time, Sir Brian and Ma'am Tin, we're going to discuss the Music 9. Okay, so ang grade 9 learners na po ang mag-prepare sa ilang self-learning materials because this week, they are going to describe same gyapon, Sir Brian, sa katong grade 7
Seven,
and grade 8.
grade eight.
They're going to describe the musical elements, explain the performance practice, and relate romantic music to other art forms. Okay, so romantic period began with the second quarter of the 19th century. It should be noted, however, that throughout the history of music, there has been a tension between the classical and romantic views of life and art. Objectivity versus subjectivity, form versus freedom, and individuality versus universality are issues that composers and other artists have confronted in every age. Romantic tendencies were evident in the music of all three of the preeminent Venice classical composers. We have particularly Mozart
Yes,
and
Beethoven.
Okay, and by end of Beethoven's career, the Romantic spirit was firmly entrenched in Europe, remaining the dominant force in music until the beginning of the 20th century. Okay, so
Yun
for
na.
our first competency,
Competency.
Sir Brian, our learners are able to describe the musical elements of the given Romantic period pieces. But before that, Sir Brian, no, let us review first what are the elements of music. Okay, romantic music is described as the cultural movement that stressed emotion, imagination, and individualism and freedom of expression.
Yes.
The compositions in this period are more passionate and expressive.
Okay, so before we describe the musical elements of the given romantic period pieces, Sir Luigi and Ma'am Tin, let us review the elements of music. We have rhythm.
Okay, rhythm is the most important element of music.
Yes.
It is the lifeblood of music. It is the flow or movement of sound
Through
through time.
time.
So either 2/4 time signature
Or
or 3/4 time signature or the 4/4 time signature. Okay,
Yes.
another element of music, we have pitch. In music, the pitch of the notes means how high or how
Low.
low the note is.
Okay, next is the dynamics. Refers to soft ba siya or kusog ba? Hinay or kusog ang sound?
Okay, another one we have style. It refers on how music is played or expected to sound. And
Yes.
next we have form. It is the overall structure and organization of the musical composition. Harmony or the texture go well together because harmony blends the tones,
Yes.
while texture adds depth and color to
The
the
melody.
melody. So musical texture refers to the various layers of sound heard all the time. Okay, so there are three types of textures,
Textures.
Ma'am Tin. So actually, kanina si Sir Brian, gina-discuss na ito ni sa first quarter,
Yes.
second
Magbalik-balik
quarter,
lagi
lang
na
naman
siya.
siya. Okay, first we have homophonic means one sound.
Yes, the mono.
Homophonic, we have, it uses instruments like guitar or piano as an accompaniment. So nanatay mga
Yes.
instruments. And polyphonic, this kind of music produces a texture that contains two or more independent musical lines, which means having
Having
many
many
sounds.
sounds.
Nanatay manggawas to si alto, tenor, bass. Okay,
Version
next,
choir.
okay. Let us try to describe the given musical sample in your self-learning material. The song is Nocturne
Nocturne.
Op. 9, number 2 by Frédéric Chopin. Okay,
Yes.
so for in the melody of the song, it is beautiful and yearning melody. For the
The
rhythm,
rhythm?
it is a repeating form. For harmony, the harmony is chromatic and stays mainly in one key, but uses some chords and notes outside of that key. Next, for texture, this piece is homophonic in texture, containing only piano for the tone color.
So-
And for the dynamics of the song, becomes stronger towards the middle or climax of the piece, and the notes become stronger.
Stronger.
Okay, so ingon na naon ra pag answer sa
Answer.
ilahang self-learning materials.
Yes.
Okay, next competency, Sir Brian, we have
explain.
explain the performance practice, the setting, compositions, role of composers or performers and audience during Romantic period. Okay, the Romantic era was a period in which individual expression was of critical importance in the interpretation of music. Romantic composers use standard notation and indicate in relative specific terms the way they wish for the music to be performed. Okay, in performing the choral music of the period, the study the text and the markings of the composers in the score. This indications provide the basis for an effective performance.
Okay, so in performing music of the Romantic period, the tempo should be elastic, reflecting the expressive nouns of text, the ideas of rubato, which is the rubato meant expressing rhythm, spontaneous ba siya with freedom, wherein the tempo varies is an important aspect in romantic style.
Okay, the tone to be used for romantic music should be full and rich. Singers should never push the tone or make it strident. The great care must be exercised in selecting music from this era for performance by school choir. To perform many of the great choral or orchestral masterworks effectively requires mature voices capable of producing a wide range of speech and dynamics and expression.
Why is performance practice important in music?
Okay, by practicing your performance skill, you expose yourself to learn, to grow, learn to go with the even use to your advantage and different feelings of sensation to live performance.
Okay, now this time we will proceed to the third competency, relate romantic music to other art forms and its history within the era. Okay, so Romanticism was a trend in which neoclassical era artists sought to break new ground with both the delicate and stormy presentation of sentiment. They also promoted a variety of distinguishing concepts such as historical ambition, supernatural elements, social justice, and nature.
Okay. Landscape painting was also made more popular because of the romantic adoration of nature by the inhabitants. Romanticism was a reaction to the neoclassical pieces' historical and contemplative nature. Okay, so mo ano yung mga kasagara subjects for romanticism, intuition, emotion, and imagination, the medieval and baroque eras, Middle and Far East, subjective, spontaneous, and non-conformist, legend, exotic, nature, violence, unrestrained, rich color, visible brushstrokes, dramatic, and carry viewers away. Okay, examples nga makita silang self-learning materials, Serban, because they are going to relate the music, they're going to relate the art forms in the music of Romanticism. Okay, examples nga makita dira sa self-learning material, we have dancing. Okay, we have ballet, waltz, and another one we have orchestra.
So, ngayon ay magpapatuloy tayo at dadako tayo sa ating ASP 9. So, ang ating learning competency sa linggong ito ay nakikilala ang mga palatandaan ng katarungang panlipunan.
Okay, so Ma'am Tin, bakit kailangan natin pag-aralan ang katarungang panlipunan at gaano ba ito kahalaga sa atin at sa ating mga mag-aaral?
Okay, talagang napakahalaga nito, Sir Brian at Sir Louie. Karapatan ng lahat ng mga tao o nilalang na maging mulat sa ating mga karapatan bilang tao at isa na rito ang katarungang panlipunan, lalo na sa ating mga kabataang nanonood ngayon dahil baka nalabag na pala ang kanilang karapatan sa lipunang kanilang ginagalawan nang hindi nila alam o inaakala nila na ito ay normal lamang.
So ano ba ang mga palatandaan ng katarungang panlipunan, Ma'am Tin?
Balikan natin kung ano ang katarungan at katarungang panlipunan. Ang katarungan ay ang pagbibigay sa kapwa ng nararapat sa kanya o tumutukoy sa katwiran, pagiging wasto, pagkakapantay-patay sa harapan ng batas at sa harap ng isang hukuman. At ang katarungang panlipunan ay ang pag-iingat sa sarili ng komunidad upang makagawa, makabuo at makalikha. So kakailanganin sa katarungang panlipunan ang mga batas upang maingatan ang mga individual na karapatan ng tao at pamahalaan upang masiguro ang patas na pagbabahagi ng yaman ng bansa. Ang pulis naman ay upang magbantay sa kalayaan ng mga tao.
Okay, so Ma'am Tin, ano ang palatandaan ng katarungang panlipunan?
Yes, ito ay ang una, kapakanan ng pamilya. Pangalawa, karapatang pantao dapat ipinatutupad. Mayroon tayong karapatang mabuhay, karapatang maingatan, karapatang mapaunlad, at karapatang makiisa. Ang mga ito ay dapat binabantayan na hindi nalalabag. Pangatlo, Sir Louie.
Pangatlo, ang katotohanan at kalayaan sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon ay pinagsisikapan.
Yes.
Okay, pang-apat, ang kabuhayan ay pinagkakaloob sa lahat.
Sa lahat.
At ang panglima, kapayapaan sa paligid ay nararanasan dahil sa pagpapatupad ng batas.
Yes.
Okay, so mauto ang 5 kabuok na mga karapatan.
Karapatan.
Okay.
Okay, so ilan lamang ang mga ito sa mga palatandaang dapat nating bantayan kung nangyayari na ba sa lipunang ginagalawan natin ang katarungan.
Okay, so bukod sa ito ay dapat nating bantayan, higit sa lahat, tayo ay dapat makiisa sa pagtataguyod
Yes.
ng katarungang panlipunan dahil kung anong katarungan ang ginawa mo sa inyong kapwa, ginawa mo rin ito sa iyong sarili.
Tama ka, Sir Brian at Sir Louie. Ngayon, grade 9 learners, ang gagawin nyo ay kilalanin ang mga palatandaan ng katarungang panlipunan. So, gumawa ng pagtatasa kung ano ang mga palatandaan ng pagiging makatarungang tao at ang taglay mo sa iyong sarili sa kasalukuyan. Sagutin ang bawat item sa talahan na yan sa ibaba at lagyan ito ng check. So, ito ay makikita ninyo sa inyong self-learning materials.
Okay.
Okay, more topics to be discussed.
After a short break, this
This
is
is Astral
Astral
Academy
Cyber
Cyber School.
Dali na mag-science na kita, mag-observe o mag-discover ta, living things o non-living things, mga stars o mga planeta. Dali na mag-science na kita, mag-observe o mag-discover ta, living things o non-living things, mga stars o mga planeta, mga stars o mga planeta, mga stars o mga planeta.
And we're back, still here in
Astral Academy Cyber School.
Okay, so managaniya ang Music 9 and NSP 9. So this time we will proceed to grade 10 Music. Our learning competency for today narrates the life of selected contemporary Filipino composers, analyze the musical characteristics of tradition and contemporary Philippine music, and improvise simple vocal instrument accompaniment to selected contemporary Philippine music. Okay, we will discuss first the first competency, which is narrates the life of selected contemporary Filipino composers.
By the way, sir, what do you mean by contemporary music?
Contemporary music in the Philippines usually refers to compositions that have adapted ideas and elements from the 20th century art music in the West, okay, as well as the latest trends and musical styles in the entertainment industry.
Can you give tips to our learners on how to narrate the life of selected contemporary Filipino composers?
Okay, so pag narrate sa mga learners na to, Ma'am Tin, all they need to do to know in narrating a person's life are first his or her autobiography. So nanadto ang unsa ang kano sa ang birthday niya sa kanang Filipino composer nga naa diya silang SLM, place of birth, ang family member. Next, who inspired him or her? Kinsa may naka-inspire niya nganong gusto siya mag-compose. Next, ang contribution niya sa music. And lastly, the famous compositions of that composer. Example.
Okay, we have Ryan Kayabyab, Sir Brian.
Okay, example na silang SLM si Ryan Kayabyab. So atong ikuan niya, inarrates na to ang iyang life.
Yes.
So una, kanusa man siya ang birthday niya,
Birthday.
gipanganak.
Okay, so May 4, 1995.
Okay, unsa si Ryan Kayabyab? Aside sa composer, unsa siya? He was a conductor who spans both popular and classical worlds with his top music, ballads, operas, zarzuelas, orchestra arrangement, masses, psalm, and choral compositions.
Okay, so mao ni iyang mga compositions, Sir Brian. We have Kay Ganda ng Musika, Kumo
Yes.
Kuti Kutitap, okay, Tuwing Umuulan,
At kapiling
at
ka.
Kapiling Ka, the Basil Valdez and Regine Velasquez version, okay. We have The Coconut Nut.
Ang nagpasikat sa The Coconut Nut sa ang Smoky Mountain.
We
Ang
have
next,
Kailan by MYMP. Can This Be Love by
By
Sarah
Sarah
Hiron.
Okay, so
Okay.
ning atuon nila pag narrate so no pwede ra pud na nila ang ilang sentence, ilang paragraph. So it depends on how nila
Kaya na siya nga
kuwan.
mga Quanser by information, makita ra pud sa ilang self-learning materials.
Okay, now this time we will proceed to learning competency 2. Analyze the musical characteristics of tradition and contemporary Philippine music.
And what are the musical characteristics of traditional and contemporary here in Philippine music?
Okay, for traditional musical characteristics, it has emphasis on reading music, established the traditional techniques, equipped music theory, erratic performance opportunities, and it engages the standard repertoire.
Yes, so motto for the standard. Sa contemporary Philippine music has primary focus on ear training. So, ear sila rather than reading. And then progressive ang technique. And then pondering music theory as framework to performance. And then popularity in performance and plays on the fly repertoire.
Now, how can they analyze the musical characteristics of a given piece of the Philippine music?
Okay, so to analyze, they should familiarize the difference between traditional and contemporary music based on the character that we've mentioned a while ago. And then mabasa po nila ang mga characteristic sa traditional and contemporary music na sa ilahang SLM. Okay.
So, our last competency for this week, we have improvised simple vocal and instrumental accompaniment to selected contemporary Philippine music.
Okay, so all they have to do is to select one song from selected contemporary Filipino composers. And they will sing it. They can modify it by changing the melody. So, pwede nila i-change ang rhythm or ang dynamics baka sa kanta. Or they may use any available materials that they may use as accompaniment. So, pwede dito, ang masikat nga composer is si Ryan Kayabyab man. O for example, katong
Mo ko na yung-
Yes, tuwing umuulan. Kana, sikat kina siya sa una, di ba, Ma'am Tin?
Yes.
Oh. And then, next is Kailan. And then, kanipod ka Sarah G, Can This Be Love? So, pwede ka na ang ilahang i-improvise nga kanta. Pwede nila butangan og accompaniment
Yes.
based on say present sa ilaha.
So,
Okay?
ngayon, tutungo tayo sa ating ESP 10. At ang ating learning competency sa linggong ito ay nakapagpapaliwanag ng kahalagahan ng pagmamahal ng Diyos. So, sa linggong ito ay masusukat, o mabibigyan natin ng pansin sa ating sarili kung gaano natin pinahahalagahan ang pagmamahal natin sa Diyos na pinaniniwalaan natin siyang may lalang sa sanlibutan.
So, gaano ba kahalaga ang pagpapahalaga natin sa pagmamahal ng Diyos, Ma'am Tin?
Napakahalagang pag-aralan natin ito at bigyan ng pagpapahalaga pagkat ito ay magiging susi para sa magandang kinabukasan. Dahil nilikha ng Diyos ang lahat ng bagay na kailangan ng tao para mabuhay. So nilalayon niyang ang tao ang mamamahala sa hayop at gawing hardin ang buong lupa. So mababasa natin ito sa mga banal na aklat tulad ng Biblia, sa mga Kristiyano at Quran naman sa relihiyon ng Islam.
Okay, so ito ang mga ilang ebidensya na mahal tayo ng Diyos. Una, ibinigay ng Diyos ang sanlibutan, ang kanyang anak na si Jesus upang magbigay aral at tubusin ang sanlibutan sa mga kasalanan. At ang disenyo ng ating katawan ay nagpapakita ng kakayahang mabuhay magpakailanman.
Tama, Sir Brian. So, paano natin maipapakita ang ating pagmamahal sa Diyos?
So maipapakita natin ito sa pamamagitan ng taus-pusong panalangin o pananampalataya, pagsunod sa kanyang mga butihing utos, yung 10 Commandments, at pagbabasa ng Biblia.
Okay, so haya na, grade 10 learners. Ang gagawin nyo lamang sa linggong ito ay panuto, Sir Luigi.
Ipaliwanag ang kahalagahan ng pagmamahal ng Diyos sa pamamagitan ng pagpuno ng mga salita upang mabuo ang pagpapahayag sa pagmamahal sa Diyos. Basahin at unawaing mabuti ang pahayag at isulat ang sagot sapat lang. Gawing gabay ang halimbawa na makikita sa inyong self-learning materials. Okay, so this time learners, makita na ang ikatulong nga attendance marker dira sa inyong screen. Okay, so magpasalamat na Sir Brian no, sa atong executive producer, Sir Gasepi, to our production team, and of course, to our learners. Okay, this has been Luigi Teleron from Silangit National High School.
This has been Brian Cahigas of Sumirap National High School.
And this has been Kristen Monternel from Kanyanga National High School.
This is Astral Academy Cyber School.